What happens when the nation's top law enforcement officer won't give straight answers about foreign lobbying, ethics conflicts, and personal finances? This hearing didn't just raise eyebrows, it raised serious questions about who the Justice Department is really working for.
The three hallmarks of this administration are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are two types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
The answer is yes. No,
hold
excuse
on.
me.
No,
No.
for anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Anti-human trafficking
Yes or
for the
no?
World Cup.
Attorney
you can't
General,
put words in my mouth.
No.
You want to talk about incompetence? You're the one that
Excuse
said
me.
Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words.
Mr.
So don't
Chairman,
talk to me. Don't insult me publicly.
this is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden? Very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist for Qatar. Is that correct? Yes. Never mind, don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before for the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no? No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the conflict that you had. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in. Is it true that you gave advice that this was legally permissible? Yes or no?
I will not discuss any advice that my Office of Legal Counsel gives to the President of the United States on any matter.
When you spoke before the Senate, you said you would ask for ethical advice. Did you recuse yourself from that issue?
And talking about unprofessional, you say the President wanted a jet because it's pretty?
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate, this is
He
a
said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself. Let me go to April the 2nd. You're a part of this, the president has dabbled in meme coin. He had the DOJ, disband the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. His son recently launched the Executive Branch Club, a private club with $500,000 memberships here in D.C. Any of this seem like it might be a problem, might be profiteering from the office, and maybe you and your ethics team might be concerned about these conflicts of interest, your own and the president and his family? Yes or no? Any concerns?
What I would be concerned about in Pennsylvania are all the child sex cases that we've prosecuted, all the CSAM cases that we've prosecuted.
Did you hear
in
my question?
Pennsylvania.
I
That's
asked
what
the
I would
witness
be
to
concerned
actually
about.
answer questions that are asked.
Congresswoman Dean.
Chairman,
Please let the witness answer the question.
she didn't. And I would like to ask you one more question. You're not just complicit in this, you're actively helping and profiting. Isn't it true that on April the 2nd, the same day that Trump announced his chaotic tariff regime that plummeted the stock market, you sold more than $1 million worth of your shares in Trump Media stock? Trump Media stock fell 13% in the following days. Seems you avoided that loss. Well done. I yield back.
May I answer that, Chairman? I complied with my ethics, and yeah, I would take a class in financial literacy if you think I profited from that, because I lost a tremendous amount of money. Congresswoman, and also on page 25 of my SJ2, it lists my involvement with Qatar for anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Thank you.
What makes this exchange so important is that it goes beyond political theater and cuts straight to the question of trust. The Attorney General is not just another cabinet official. This is the person charged with enforcing the law, interpreting ethics rules, and deciding when conflicts of interest cross the line into illegality. When concerns are raised at this level, the standard isn't whether something can be argued away, but whether the public can reasonably believe that the justice system is being run fairly and independently. The lawmaker opened by drawing a sharp distinction between personal corruption and public corruption, and that framing matters. Personal corruption affects individuals. Public corruption damages institutions. When government power is used to shield allies, excuse ethical lapses, or blur legal boundaries, the harm doesn't disappear when one administration ends. It weakens the guardrails meant to protect democracy itself. That's why questions about lobbying history, disclosure, and recusals are not minor details. They exist to prevent even the appearance that justice is being shaped by private interests. The Foreign Agents Registration Act is designed around transparency. Representing a foreign government is not inherently illegal, but failing to fully disclose that relationship when seeking confirmation for one of the most powerful legal positions in the country raises serious concerns. Ethics rules are not just about what is technically allowed, they're about maintaining public confidence. When relationships with foreign governments overlap with official decision-making, transparency becomes non-negotiable. Another critical issue exposed here is the pattern of deflection instead of direct answers. Yes or no questions about disclosure, conflicts, and recusals are fundamental to congressional oversight. When those questions are met with personal attacks or topic shifts, it undermines the very purpose of oversight hearings. These proceedings are not about scoring points. They are about accountability, and accountability requires clear answers. The discussion around the Qatar jet, cryptocurrency enforcement, and financial entanglements adds another layer. Accepting extraordinary gifts, dismantling enforcement mechanisms, and blurring the line between public service and private profit may each be defended individually, but together they paint a troubling picture. Ethics safeguards are supposed to grow stronger when power increases, not weaker. When those safeguards erode, it becomes harder for the public to trust that decisions are being made in the national interest rather than personal or political ones. Perhaps most alarming is the issue of stock transactions tied to major policy announcements. Senior officials are expected to avoid even the appearance of trading on non-public information. Whether profit was made is secondary to whether the public can trust that privileged access was not used for personal advantage. That is why strict disclosure rules exist, and why scrutiny in moments like this is not optional. This hearing wasn't about tone or partisan conflict. It was about whether the nation's top law enforcement official is holding herself to the same ethical standards she's responsible for enforcing. When answers are evasive and transparency feels incomplete, skepticism is not cynicism, it's responsibility. If you believe accountability matters, don't just watch and move on. Stay engaged, follow these hearings, and pay attention to how power is exercised behind closed doors. Share this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future breakdowns like this. An informed public is the strongest check on power, and these conversations only matter if we keep them going.